Thanks for joining us on the program, everyone. The Lagos State House of Assembly last week had its 10th constituency stakeholders meeting held simultaneously across all 40 constituencies. I believe that was on the 4th of September. This year's theme, Governors in Action, the gains of the renewed hope agenda, showcased what the federal and state partnership has delivered on security, infrastructure, and social programs. Let's begin with Abimbola Agbebe's report on this development.
Meeting of the Lagos State House of Assembly holding simultaneously across the 40 constituencies in the state, and this year's theme, Governors in Action. The gains of the renewed hope agenda sets the tone for evaluating how policy impacts daily lives.
It was a warm reception for the Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Mudashiru Obasa, as he arrived at the Agege Government Secretariat Hall. The atmosphere set the tone for a decade-long tradition, an annual stakeholders meeting aimed at deepening engagement between lawmakers and the people they represent. Acting Chairman of the local council, Vinod Obasa, formally declared the meeting open, highlighting the importance of dialogue and effective governance.
It is a time to reflect on the progress we have made and to listen, learn, and chart the course ahead together. The topic today, Governance in Action, the gain of the renewed hope agenda.
In his address, Obasa talked about the gains of good governance, which is the focus of this year's meeting.
If we keep counting, we won't get over it. So, aluminium filling, Shita Street, Dokpemu, Oniwaya, many of them. You know, the funniest thing is that some of these roads never witnessed what they call tarring. So what else do we have? And go and check our schools, both primary and secondary. Look at the transformation.
From Agege to other parts of the state, residents took the opportunity to applaud the House for sustained dialogue over the years.
Before, water disturbing was if raining fall, but now there is no more that one.
We have a good road in Agege, 100% good road.
And we strongly believe we were going to sustain this fine. Our expectation is to involve, the elite, the well-read, the professionals. But I'm sure we will get there. It may not be now, but they will realize the fact, because what is obtainable in a civilized country.
As stakeholders continue to lend their voices to governance, the message from Obasa remains clear. Collaborative leadership and citizen participation are crucial to building the future envisioned by the renewed hope agenda. Abimbola Agbebi, TVC News, Lagos.
The stakeholders model was launched by my guest who joins me today in 2015, an initiative that asks every lawmaker to hold a one-day simultaneous meeting with constituents to report, listen, and deliver projects. And joining me in the studio to review the 10th edition is the Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Mudashiru Obasa. Recall that about 6 months ago, in the heat of the leadership crisis that saw him briefly removed from office, he granted us what was perhaps his first major television interview in recent years. Tonight, he returns live and beyond the headlines to speak on the constituency stakeholders meeting, an initiative he launched a decade ago and which has now marked its 10th edition. There are also unavoidable questions about governance, his leadership comeback, accountability, and the future of Lagos politics. Mr. Speaker, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir.
And congratulations on the 10th edition of this stakeholders meeting.
Thank you.
What would you say is the most important outcome you want Lagosians to remember from this year's outreach based on the feedback you got?
Well, let me start by saying we thank God for everything, that this is the 10th year that we have started this stakeholders meeting. And it was an idea that was born out of intention to serve our people, to serve our people whom we are representing in the House of Assembly. And it's also important to know that amongst responsibilities of representatives, I think representation is the most significant one out of it. We have lawmaking process, oversight function, and the rest of them. But representation is quite very important because you create opportunity for the people for interaction, engagement, conversation, through which they will understand what the government is all about and what they have been doing. And you, as a representative, the opportunity to do what we call feedback, to brief them all you've been doing, and to listen to them as well as to their hopes and aspirations. And this is not limited to the people that supported you during the election, even those who were against you. You have to,
because you're representing the entirety of your constituency.
Even the man in prison,
Indeed.
in the hospital, so you must. So that is why it's very important. And that was what informed the stakeholders meeting. Why we do it simultaneously, because we don't want to create time for this honorable member this week, and next week another honorable member, another. So that is why we said, okay, let's do it together, since we have different constituencies. And I think it has become a kind of a household name now. After 10 years, you have people, you know, looking forward to it every year. So I think we are making progress. We are making progress, and it's something that has been very helpful, because most times the outcome of such exercise are being documented and given to the executive to make them part of the annual budget.
Is it also open to the public, especially the things that your colleagues have achieved?
Yes, of course. It is. And mind you, in order to reach out to the people, we have a journal that we print quarterly, which states what we have done, and largely, as you know, for us is to make laws, represent, oversight. So, but I think what is missing is the support of the people. I think we are yet to understand what they call governance. What we do is to go out and vote, and immediately after voting, we surrender it all. And the parliament derives its power from the people. From the people. And when you give power to some set of people, then you still need to give them that backup. You need to support them. You need to allow them to grow. If you go to the United States, you see the Congress is the most powerful, you know, arm of government. In London, the Westminster, and that is why you see people going to these places instead of going to the executive side. I didn't say executive is not important, but if you go through the Constitution, you realize that the Parliament is being given enormous power.
Absolutely. This year's edition focuses on the gains of the Renewed Hope agenda. Would you say that Lagosians have really enjoyed Renewed Hope in the past 2 years, especially at the grassroots? I'm wondering if there are specific laws or motions passed by the House that can point directly to accelerating a Renewed Hope outcome.
Yeah, definitely. So we have been doing that regularly. We talk about resolution. Most times we've done resolution on issue of security. I'm sure you'll be aware of that. You have your some of your people with us, and we've spoken about security solution, and most especially urgent projects that is on behalf of the people of particular areas. So we've done that by encouraging the executive to make sure such things are done immediately, and also petition mostly, where you have, you know, confrontation, conflict over properties and the rest of them. And we have been doing this. I want to appreciate the executive on this, because most times after our resolve, that is resolution, they've been able to act on it.
There's a long-running debate about constituency projects, especially in the wake of autonomy for local governments. Some civil society groups now argue that you doing these projects blurs the separation of powers, that lawmakers should rather stick to oversight and lawmaking, not project execution.
Well, it depends on what you mean by constituency project, because we don't do that in the Lagos State House of Assembly. You know, we don't dabble into the functions of the executive, because we cannot be legislator and at the same time executive. Because you are to supervise the executive, you are to watch them through oversight functions. But when we are not involved in the activities, so how do you do that? So we don't do that. What we do in the House of Assembly, like I said, you know, during the stakeholders meeting, we listen to our people. Issues that has to do with project they raise, we now surrender it to the executive for them to implement.
So it is the executive that implement these projects?
Yes,
that you gather at your stakeholders?
Yes, exactly.
So you're saying that lawmakers are not directly involved?
No, not at all, not in Lagos.
Oh, beautiful. That sounds good. How do you, because some have said that, you know, perhaps the reference has been for national lawmakers. I mean, lawmakers both in the House of Reps and Senate who really do have these constituency projects. How do they keep the Assembly's oversight role robust while also sponsoring projects? Do you think they perhaps need to learn from what Lagos is doing?
Well, I think what they do is also similar with what we do at the state level. I've not heard or seen where any of them embark on projects making or construction of any project.
Perhaps it's the influence that they have over this.
Exactly. Yeah, you have the right to influence as a legislator. It depends on the relationship between the House or an individual member of the House with a specific ministry. So you can influence. It is allowed you influence in the interest of your people. So I think that is what they do at the National Assembly as well. I've not seen or heard where each of them has been in charge of construction or otherwise.
How effective is holding the stakeholders meeting once a year? Because one would think that you are supposed to represent your people. You should always continually engage them.
Yes, it is everyday thing. You know, I said it earlier on that representation is very important, and it's the main thing when you talk about duties of a legislator. But that's the annual thing is just an avenue to bring everybody together. You know, to bring everybody together, to share ideas, you know, to say the way you feel about it and the thing you think. You know, most times it's not about projects, it's not about tiring of road, construction of drainages and all that. But, you know, you just want to hear from your representative as to what has been happening. And for the representative also to assure them by giving them hope that, well, we are doing well and we have more to do.
Indeed. Let us take a short break, and when we return, we'll continue this conversation. Stay with us, everyone. Don't go away. Right, Honorable Mudashiru Obasa is the Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly. Thank you for staying the course on the program. Let us talk about it for a minute. You have occupied elective position since 1999, right? Yeah. First as councillor before joining the House of Assembly in 2003. That's 26 years, right? Yeah. If you were a civil servant, if you are a civil servant,
you'll be permanent secretary.
No, I was even thinking, who is expected to retire after 35 years of service? Okay. Maybe you have like 9 more years to go. Well, you're not planning to retire from politics, are you?
Well, no, not yet.
Not yet. Because last year you said that you had not really given serious thought about becoming the next governor, as was already being speculated. But you mentioned that you are capable, ably qualified to contest. So now that you've weathered the political storm, returned as Speaker, do you still rule out a 2027
the question was, am I preparing to retire as a politician?
And you said no.
And I said no.
And then I'm wondering, what's next? What next?
Life.
You had a conversation with one of my old colleagues 7 years ago on this channel. Okay. And I remember you were telling her, it was Azizat, and you were saying that I have been councillor, I am now Speaker, I cannot go back. The next place to go is governor or senator. That was exactly what you said?
Oh yeah, it was a conversation. Yeah, it was a conversation. It wasn't assertive statement.
So you don't have an ambition to be governor?
Well, I'm not denying that, but let me just explain. You see, now we are talking about politics, and you have to be a member of political party.
Indeed.
So, and if you're a member of political party, you have to believe in the leadership of the party. So you get to a stage where you cannot determine what is next for you. You may on your own, you may that, oh, I want to aspire to become this. On your own, you may. But if you have respect for the party and the way the party is being managed, you know that the party leaders will sit together and decide who will be next. You understand? So as a speaker, as a deputy governor, as a governor, as a senator, you know, so it's all about consultation, engagement with the party leaders.
But you as a person have your ambition now. For instance, now, by 2027, you have spent like 24 years in the House of Assembly. Do you see yourself being Speaker in another 4 years, or a member of the House? A member of the House of Assembly?
But for you to be a Speaker, you have to be a member of the House.
First.
Yeah, first.
So do you see yourself extending your stay by another 4 years in this same House?
Not really. That is what I've just said. You know, but there is life ahead. So let us contemplate at living that life.
What's your relationship with Mr. Governor like, right?
Oh, my brother. You know, it's my brother, it's my it's my colleague in progress. You know, we've been around together for a long time, you know, serving the people of Lagos State, and we are still doing that. So, and he has been very active, you know, at working, serving us. We are cool.
You know, we really can't have this conversation without revisiting the extraordinary and historic way you returned to power.
Okay.
Many Nigerians have not gotten over the power tussle that saw you removed and reinstated. How do you reflect on that now, 6 months after?
Well, for me, let me appreciate my colleagues, my colleagues in the House of Assembly, my brothers, my friends, very loyal, very dedicated, with high level of commitment to the service of people in Lagos. They've always been there, we've been together, and they are doing tremendously well. I'll just say, even within a family, you have your misunderstanding, and that is all I would love to say about that.
When you returned in March, it was described in some reports as a commando-style comeback. Like accounts of heightened security presence, dramatic plenary session. There was deep division within the House. Looking back at that incident, do you consider that manner of return a show of strength? Does it bother you that it probably had left scars on the legislature's image and credibility?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. There was nothing about the commando style. No. If the contention was that following the due process, we have rules in the House. Okay. That if anything has to be done, you just have to follow the rules. And mind you, thereafter there was a court judgment. So,
which was in your favor?
Yes. So, as I said, I don't want us to...
But what has that really done to the relationship with your colleagues?
We are very cool. We are close, doing well. At least the 10 years celebration of my speakership, you had all of them. They all spoke on the floor of the House. At least nobody pointed the guns at the head. So
have you really forgiven them?
Why should I not? They've always been there. We started since 2015. So from 15 to this period, how many years? So if you have an issue, it's not enough to feel bad. It's not enough. It's not enough to be against them. It's not enough to wish them bad. So that's
at the time they raised issues of gross misconduct, abuse of power. Have you been able to address these issues with your colleagues such that they can earn your trust again?
The trust has always been there, and it's still there as we speak, and it will always be there. It's just like say we call a dog a bad name to do what. So, but I think we have resolved everything. So, and I don't think I would like to revisit, because by trying to exonerate yourself, to explain, to convince people, there's possibility of peeling the healing wounds.
So you want it is healing. That's what I want to know.
It is healed.
Oh, it is healed. No, because if it is completely healed, you will worry whether it's something will.
I'm not worried.
Yes.
I'm not worried. At least we've been doing everything together. Well, the stakeholders meeting we just spoke about, we all had it in our various constituencies.
And your deputy who was speaker for a while?
Miranda, she's still here. She's my sister. She's my friend. Yeah, we still work. She's my colleague.
I like the way you put it, and hopefully we'll see it like that. But Lagos voted differently in 2023. I'm talking about the presidential poll, where we saw the Labour Party winning the state in that election. What does that result say? What does it tell your party in Lagos about reconnecting with urban voters ahead of 2027?
Well, it was unpleasant results, and I want to appreciate our party leaders. We took the results, we analyzed it and broke it down. So just to identify, areas, parts of the state that we need to look at and address, issues concerning our failure. And we've been doing that, and I'm sure such is not going to happen again. So many factors came to play during the elections. If we look at the people we call Gen Z, when Mr. President was the governor, probably most of them were not born or they were too young, to really understand and appreciate him. And many things like that, you consider the religious factor as well, and ethnic factors, all this, came to play during the election. So, and all this,
But there's also the issue of governance, the quality of governance, and the performance of your party. Because many believe that 2027 will be a referendum on Tinubu's performance.
I mentioned something like that. The question is that do we really understand what they call governance? That is the question. Because I don't understand when people keep saying they've not done anything, they've not seen anything, which I beg to disagree. Come, let's start from the local government. As we speak, we have 57 local government. Let us assume, assumption, excuse me, that each one of them tires a road in a year. If you multiply that with 57, how many roads do we have? We have 57 roads, which is impossible. So let's say at least in a year 2 or 3 times 57 in a year times 4. And you look at the governor, the state, the governance at the state level, you look at the construction of roads, schools, infrastructures, so many. So it is, you know, highly irritating hearing people that they've not been doing anything, the quality, go to our schools.
Perhaps they are speaking from the point of view of their economic well-being. You know, their purchasing power prior to 2023, certain decisions were made, you know, which Mr. President himself acknowledged was painful. I mean, how much they now buy petrol, how much they have to pay for transportation. Nigerians are looking at the quality of their lives now relative to...
You cannot address issue in isolation. You have to understand the root of it, the cause of it. And also you need to be fair in your judgment. You look at these things that you mentioned, when the date starts, when. So when you have a problem, it's like somebody being sick. You know, you cannot get well overnight. So you have to address it, you know, gradually. And for me, I strongly believe we are moving forward. We are moving forward. So gradually all this thing will happen, but there's no magic anywhere that can turn things around.
You are considered to be close to Mr. President. What kind of feedback do you give him? Do you say, sir, you're doing well, or you have a lot of ground to still cover if you're going to win a second term?
Well, you know, yes, he's doing well. There's no doubt about that. But that does not mean we will not report what we have seen.
Because the perception is that perhaps the people close to Mr. President are not really painting the real picture to him of where they should
He has his ears on ground. He knows.
He
knows. He has his own information. He has his own source of information. So he knows all about this thing. And that's why he's doing everything. We've heard about market money, farmers' money, and all this, the students' loan, so many things. And the allocation to the state government has been increased, the local governments. So what is the essence of such an increase in allocation? To reach out to the people.
All things being equal, you are going to be speaker for the next 2 years. What new vision or dream do you have? Because now you're probably, you know, the first time they said you were the second longest serving speaker.
Yeah, the guy from
But
Bono.
now it's like you're going to break that record. So what plans do you have for Lagosians in a minute if you can?
Okay, we will continue to serve our people, particularly area of infrastructural development and security, which I think we are doing well, because if you gauge, I mean, issue of security in Lagos, I think we are doing well in Lagos State. And eradication of poverty, I think is it's an issue that we need to look at, to study and address, because most times our efforts, and it seems to be not eating, success as we speak, so we have to understand, you need to study the people, learn from them, what actually do they want. And I think self-employment is also important, because to this generation, I think most of, with due respect to them, they don't want to do anything, I don't like hard labor and all that, which I think is not good enough.
They should learn from your story, because you have done everything possible.
Everything. There's not
from conductor to
anything.
Everything except from armed robbery, based on what you said.
Yes.
So they should learn from your story. We have to go now.
Okay.
I had mentioned to my followers on Twitter about this conversation, and everyone is asking, what's the meaning of this #1 on your cap? Maybe you want to tell them in 30 seconds before.
Yeah, Obasa 1. The 0 is Obasa, and that one is Obasa 1.
Is that like your vision to become governor or something?
Let's wait and see.
Mudashiru Obasa is Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly. Thank you so much for finding time to come.
My pleasure. Thank you for having
and
me.
hopefully we're going to have this conversation more often.
I will try.
Lagosians have to hear from you more often. Because when you don't talk, you make people just fill in the gap with whatever comes to their mind. That's our show today, everyone. Thank you so much for being a part of it. Remember, you can watch it again at midnight and 6 a.m. tomorrow. I am Nifemi Oguntoye.